All right, so this is going to be a video on how to solve a Rubik's Cube for absolute beginners. I'm going to try to make it as easy to follow along as possible so that you can do it for any solve. There's a lot of different ways you can scramble your cube, but the beginner's method should be able to allow you to solve the cube in the exact same process on any kind of scramble ever. So, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to notice what the part is for each cube. So the middle part here, which are the center pieces, these do not move on a cube. No matter, they'll always tell you which color needs to go on that face of the cube. Okay. Now, they only have one color. The edge pieces will have two colors, and they basically say which centers need to connect. So this orange and green will need to connect with the orange and green centers. And then finally we have corner pieces, and those have three different colors on them, and they go on the corner in between three center pieces. So with that knowledge, the first step in solving our cube is we want to make the white cross. Now, for starting out, when you're making the white cross, what you want to do is you want to locate any white edge piece and move them into the yellow layer. So right here, we have this red and white edge piece, and we can move it into our yellow layer right here by rotating this 2 times. So 1, 2. And you see we have a red one. This one was already solved, so we can just leave that one there. Now with these other two, they're in the yellow layer, but they aren't oriented properly. We need the white side to be facing up. So what we can do for this first one is we can rotate this front face like that, and we can rotate it up, and now it's oriented so that the white sits on top. Now finally, this piece, if we slide it in like this, notice we kick out this piece. So what we can do is we can spin this side and we can slide in on this open part. So when we do that, we can slide in just like that. Okay. Now from here, this is what's called the daisy. Now to make your white cross, what you want to do is you want to look at the side color and you want to line them up with the center. And when you do, you move them into the white layer. So this first one is orange, and it'll go over here. So we can rotate like this, and then we can move it up. So now we have our white cross with the correct edge piece oriented with it. Now this green one doesn't slot in here, so we're going to rotate until the blue one fits into this center. That's not a white edge piece, and here's the blue one, so we can rotate that up into the bottom layer like that. And then you just want to repeat that for the remaining 2 corners. So our green's already paired up, so we can just rotate that up. And you see this, we need to pair this one up with the red, and we're going to rotate in. And now we've solved the white cross. Now, the next step is we want to solve each of the corner pieces for the white side. We want to fully solve the first white layer. So that means we want to slot in the proper corner pieces in between these 2 colors. Now what we're going to do is we're going to learn our first algorithm. So right now, to start, we have our white, red, green. We want to slot in this piece in between the red and the green centers. So we rotate that over. Now, if we hold the cube like this, we can see that white is on the right side. So we're going to do a right algorithm. Now the right algorithm consists of doing, so we're going to do R, which will go away, an R move. So we have R, and this is R prime. Okay, R prime will go counterclockwise on the side of the face, and R will go clockwise. So we have R, and now we're going to have a U move, which will go clockwise on the top face. R prime, U prime. Now, when we flip over our cube, we can see that this corner is now solved. So we move on to the next corner. Now this corner is red and blue and white. So we're going to move it over to in between red and blue, and we're going to solve. Now this time, since when we hold our cube like this, the white face is on the left side, we're going to do a left algorithm. Now the left algorithm will consist of L prime, U prime, L, U. You see that'll solve that corner. Now, for me, I have both of these corners are in the bottom layer. So what you can do is if you don't have any corners that are in the top layer that you need to solve, what you can do is you can just do a right algorithm. So I'm going to do a right algorithm to pull this corner into the top layer. And I'll swap this corner with, I believe, this corner. So we do R, U, R prime, U prime. And now this is going to be our final case. So we'll slot it in with our green and orange. And now that it's in between green and orange, we can notice that when we hold our cube at a diagonal angle, the white face sits on the top. And when the white face sits on the top, you're going to hold the cube like this, and you're going to do 3 right algorithms. So R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, U prime, and then R, U, R prime, U prime. And that'll solve this bottom piece. And then finally, you want to do that for each of your corners. So this one, I have a top, and white sits on top in between these, so we'll do 3 right algs. And that will solve our first layer. Now, the next step is we want to solve the second layer. So what you want to do is you want to find any edge piece in the top layer that does not have yellow on it. So for me, I have so I can start with this one, the blue and the orange. What you want to do is you want to line this side of the edge with its proper center. So right here. So now this piece looks aligned. Now notice that the top color is orange, and that wants to move over to the left. So what we're going to do is instead of moving it to the left, we're actually going to move it to the right. And now when we do that, we're going to take this side and we're going to do a left algorithm to unsolve the corner. Now, what we notice is now that we've unsolved the corner, when we resolve the corner, it'll pair up with this edge and it'll solve itself. So if we do the right algorithm or the left algorithm to unsolve it, we do the right algorithm to resolve it. So we'll go R, U, R prime, U prime, and that'll solve that edge. And you want to do that for each edge. So this one is blue, red, or I'll do this one. So this one is green and red. So red wants to go to the left. So since red wants to go to the left, we turn it to the right and we do a left algorithm. And then we resolve. And it'll solve that piece. Now, what we do is we notice this piece wants to pair on the right side. So we're going to swing it to the left. And we're going to do a right algorithm. And instead of doing a right algorithm to resolve it, we do a left algorithm. And that'll resolve this piece. Okay, and that's second layer done. Now, we're going to look at the top layer. The next step in solving the top layer is you want to get the yellow cross. So we want to notice which case we have. So for me, I have an L shape. So to solve an L shape, what you want to do is you want to go and put the L in the back left corner, just like this. And then you want to do a front move. So you turn the front face clockwise and then do a right algorithm. I do 2 right algorithms, I think. Do that right? Not do that. Oh, I missed a corner. Hold on. So this goes here. And then we resolve. Okay, now we look at the top layer. I have a L shape. So my L shape, we're going to do a front clockwise turn, just like that. And then we're going to do a right algorithm. When we do that, we're going to get the secondary case that you could have, which is a line. Now to solve a line, you're going to do the same thing, and you're just going to do one right algorithm, and that'll give you the yellow cross. Now, if you have a case, hold on. If you have a case like this where you don't have the line or you don't have the L shape, then all you want to do is you just want to turn the front face clockwise, do a right algorithm, and when you turn this back, you'll have an L shape. So then you just want to do a front turn, and then do 2 moves, and it'll solve the cross for you. Now the next step is you want to be able to pair up. You want to orient these edges so that they align with their proper center. So a key thing to note is that you'll always be able to line up 2 centers on any cube. So for me, I can already tell that mine are all going to line up. And if they all line up, then you can skip this step. Now, so for this, in this case, I have 1. So I have 1 edge. And this one isn't paired, this one isn't paired, this one isn't paired. So we're going to rotate it. Now notice this is not paired, this is not paired, that's not paired, that's not paired. So that's not right. Rotate it this way. We have blues paired up, but we don't have anything else paired up. So rotate it again. And this time we notice that we have orange and green is paired up, whereas these 2 edge pieces need to be flipped. So the next algorithm we're going to learn how to flip these is going to be a soon. So the soon is going to consist of, now the easiest way to follow along for this algorithm is you want to watch this front pair right here. So for me, I have green and red, and you're going to watch it. So I'm going to move it into the top layer, or R. I'm going to do a U move to move it out of this layer, and then you're going to do R prime, do another U to put it in the back, and then do R, a U2, which would look like 1, 2, or you can do it like this, and you can just slot it right back into where it was, and then move this back down. And when you do, you should be able to line up each of the edges just like that. Now, in this case, I have the yellow, or not the orange. The green's not paired up, and the blue's not paired up, but the red is. So when these 2 pieces are across from each other, what you want to do is you want to hold it like this, so the 2 solved pieces are in the vertical side, and then you want to do a soon. And then when you do that, you'll realize that these 2 are now in their proper spots. And so you hold that in the back, hold this on your right, and then you do another soon. Just like you would for the 2 pieces next to each other. And when you do that, you can orient it, and we're on to the last step. So the last step consists of the corner pieces. So what you want to do is you want to look and see if any of the corners are in the right spot. Now what I mean by the right spot is they don't necessarily have to be solved, but you do want them to be in between the right colors. So like for example, this one is in the proper spot because it's in between red, green, and yellow. Now this one is not in the right spot because while it has yellow and orange, the blue is not there. The blue's on this side, so that one's not in the right spot. Same with this one, not in the right spot, and this one's not in the right spot. So if you have any solved corner, what you want to do is you want to hold that corner in the front left, and you want to do our next algorithm, which is called a nick loss. Now the nick loss is you're going to follow these two front pairs right here. So for me, that's green and orange, and red and green. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do R, and I'm going to move this pair up, and then I'm going to slot it right in this pair. So by doing U prime. Okay. Now I'm going to move this pair up. So I have L prime, and then U, and I'm going to move this pair back down, and then I'm going to move this pair back down. And when you do that, and you rotate the front so that you readjust your solved edges, I see that each one of my corners is now in the right spot. So this one's solved, and this one's in the right spot. This one's still in the right spot. That the front left does not rotate, and this one's in the right spot. So now that we've done that, we're going to move on to the next step. Now, the other case you could have is you could have no corners solved. And what you want to do then is you want to do a nick loss, which is the algorithm I just showed. And that will solve at least one corner. And then you just want to solve like you normally would. And sometimes if you do a nick loss with one solved corner, it won't fully solve all your corners, and then you just want to repeat the nick loss again. So you could have to do it once, you could have to do it twice, and if all your corners are in the right spot, then you just need to skip this step. So the final step is you want to flip the cube over. So you want to have yellow on the bottom. And then what you want to do is you want to find an unsolved corner and then you will put that in the bottom right. So you don't want to put this one here because this one's solved. But this one would work because we need to flip this. So what you want to do is you want to do right algorithms. Now it's very important when you're doing the right algorithm, that you do the full algorithm. And basically you want to do it until this corner is solved. So it might look messy at first, but it'll all resolve itself once all of these corners are solved. So what I'm going to do is I can do right alg. So I do R, U, R prime, U prime. And then I do one more, R, U, R prime, U prime. And now we notice that this corner is now solved. So now this corner is solved, what you want to do is you want to take the bottom layer. You don't want to rotate the cube. You want to take the bottom layer and go over and move the bottom layer and slot in another unsolved corner. And now what you want to do from there is you want to do another right algorithm. So R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, U prime. And now from here, I can see that this corner is now solved. And so I slot in this one, take its place. And I do another right algorithm. That didn't solve it, so I do one more. And that did solve it. And now when you turn this last layer, you'll have a fully solved cube. And I hope this helps you guys. And yeah, have a good one.